Are you supporting the top of your ticket in November? Are you supporting Donald Trump?
Yeah, I've said before I haven't voted for the top of the ticket since 2012. I've certainly had my concerns. One of those is what happened on January 6th. I'm hopeful. I want my party to win. They chose a candidate this time around that was not my first choice. Wasn't my choice last time either. But the party's spoken, and that's who they have chosen. And so I've said I'm not going to vote for either presidential candidate this year. I'll write somebody in as I've done in the past, but I am supportive. I do want Donald Trump to succeed. I want my party to win. We desperately need the right people in the right positions. I'm very anxious for who he picks as vice president. That's going to make a big difference, I think. Certainly for me, I believe in governors. I think Governor Burgum is an incredible leader. I think he's somebody who could actually help to unite the party and lead us into November with President Trump. And that's something we'll be watching very closely if an announcement comes soon, I guess potentially on Monday.
That was Utah Governor Spencer Cox admitting on air that he won't be voting for his own party's presidential nominee. This comes on the heels of Vermont Governor Phil Scott coming out against Trump, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb refusing to endorse Trump, and Georgia Governor Brian Kemp announcing that he didn't vote for Trump in the Georgia Republican primary.
Speaking of the Georgia primary, who did you vote for?
In the Georgia primary, I didn't vote for anybody. I voted, but I didn't vote for anybody. The race was already over when the primary got here.
But you didn't vote for Donald Trump?
I didn't vote for anybody.
Why not?
Because the race is over with.
Wow. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, well.
And what's worse for Trump? This is just the tip of the iceberg. Here's just a few officials who'd been closely aligned with Trump who will no longer be supporting him in November.
Character is too important to me. And it's a job that requires the kind of character that he just doesn't have. Having said that, I really disagree with Biden on policy. I wrote in a Republican the last time. I'm going to write in a Republican this time.
You're going to write in
a
Republican?
I don't know who yet.
You know, based upon the differences the president and I still have over my constitutional duties on January 6th, but also, as you said, based upon how I see the president shying away from our commitment as leader of the free world, being prepared to ignore the national debt, now even walking away from a commitment to the right to life at the national level. I've just made it clear that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump in this campaign, but I'll keep my vote on my own, and I'll vote according to my conscience in private, just like every American will.
Well, look, you're a political reporter. My world doesn't revolve around Donald Trump. It doesn't revolve around Joe Biden. It revolves around American national security. I'm going to write in Dick Cheney again because I want to vote for a Republican conservative. And there aren't any on the ballot this time, and there weren't in 2020. The stakes internationally are getting higher.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters. He lost his election, and he lost big. I know it, he knows it, and deep down, I think most Republicans know it.
There's no way I will vote for Trump. But every day that Trump does something crazy, the door to voting for Biden opens a little bit more.
I am supporting him, and I think he did the right thing at the right time to save our democracy under tremendous pressure. He did what our founding fathers gave us. It was a gift, the gift of America, freedom.
And you're talking about January 6th.
Yes, a very generous gift.
And what did Donald Trump do on that day, in your view?
And Mike saved us from that. Otherwise, we've been a third world nation.
In your mind, if Donald Trump became president again, what would a second Trump term look like?
Fundamentally, a second Trump term could mean the end of American democracy as we know it. And I don't say that lightly. We all witnessed him trying to steal a democratic election before and going to historic and unconstitutional lengths to do so. And that just shows that he's willing to basically break every barrier to get into power and to stay into power. But also, I'm very concerned about what the term would actually look like.
We don't need to speculate what a second Trump term would look like because we already saw it play out. To this day, he still doubles down on the fact that he thinks that the election was stolen and fraudulent. And then his rhetoric has just gotten increasingly erratic. I mean, he has literally called for things like doing away with parts of the Constitution, wanting to weaponize the DOJ to enact revenge on his political enemies.
The fact that he feels that he needs to lean into being a dictator alone shows that he is a weak and feeble man who has no sense of character and integrity and has no sense of leadership.
And that's not even close to the full list. There's also John Kelly, Trump's chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, another Trump chief of staff, Ty Cobb, Trump's White House counsel, Ron Gidwitz, Trump's acting ambassador to the EU, H.R. McMaster, Trump's national security advisor, Anthony Scaramucci, Trump's communications director, Miles Taylor, chief of staff to the Homeland Security Department, Olivia Troy, Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor. In fact, of 44 cabinet members, just 4 have publicly endorsed him. And then there's the current U.S. senators from Trump's party, including Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, Todd Young, Jerry Moran, and the lawmakers from his party, David Joyce, Greg Pence, Chip Roy, David Valadao, Larry Bouchon. And look, here's the most important point. These are the people who know him best. These are the people who've worked with him, alongside him. These are the people who are most clued in to who he is, how he operates, and what he can do with the levers of power in the Oval Office. If those people won't vote for Donald Trump, that's saying something. And what's more telling, this is happening at a time of extreme hyperpolarization. The vast majority of this country will vote solely depending on who's got a D or an R next to their name. Many people would vote based on party even if they had quite literally no clue who the candidate they were voting for actually was. And yet, in this environment, for not only partisans, but partisans who worked in Donald Trump's White House to announce that they won't vote for him should be a 5-alarm fire for voters out there. This transcends partisan politics at a time when partisan politics transcends the issues, the policies, and the platforms. So look, I get it, I'm a liberal. Me telling independents and Republicans out there not to vote for Donald Trump only carries so much weight. Or, depending on who I'm talking to, no weight at all. But this isn't coming from me. This is coming from the people closest to Donald Trump himself, who know what he's capable of, who have seen him behind closed doors. We have a choice in this election, and that's to elect someone whose coalition is composed of Democrats, independents, and pro-democracy Republicans, or to vote for someone who can't even garner the full support of his own party. These Republicans are sending a message to American voters right now. Our job is to listen. I've got a really exciting announcement. I've written a book. It's called Shameless. This book explores how Republicans have exploited their historical branding while attacking our democracy, how the media has proven itself a willful participant, and how Democrats can learn from this to rebalance the political scales and save our democracy. It has been a lifelong dream of mine to write my own book, and so I'd like to ask you to pre-order it by clicking the link right here on the screen. And if you buy within this pre-order period, your book is going to come with a signed nameplate. As you know, I've never had a single sponsor on my channel. I don't ask for money or anything like that, but if you're looking for a way to support me, this is hands down the best way to do it. So again, follow the link right here on the screen, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for pre-ordering Shameless. And as always, make sure to subscribe to see more of my content.